myself busy. I ran around in circles, think I made myself dizzy.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Love Journal, my journey into healing, relearning, and redefining love for myself. Right. Um, Today, I wanted to do a topic that I think is it should be important to everybody, but very important to me. And that's empathy and emotional intelligence. Before we get started, I want to let my guests go ahead and introduce themselves. Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Globe. I'm the host of Verbal Tea, which is a journaling podcast where we focus more on our own inner voices. That way we can relate to others better. That's a
Nice.
don't want to monopolize. That's a good summary of me.
Perfect. Donnie.
Uh, Donnie from Whatever Talk, and I just like conversation. I'm a conversation seeker. That's all.
I feel it.
I got a lot
I
of
feel it.
thoughts, and I don't mind sharing my thoughts.
I
That's
feel
what I'll be
that. I
talking
love
about.
that. And Globe, real quick, I love that you just mentioned that yours is a journaling podcast because that's kind of what this was for me. Like it's like therapy, honestly. Like I'm going to the third season, and I started it because I kind of had some issues with love. I was kind of on some fuck love shit. Like fuck all that shit. This is stupid. I hated watching rom coms. I couldn't listen to love songs. It was just like I was actually really affected. I was like, okay, wait, this is kind of. I'm a little bitter. I might want to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of started the show, and it's crazy how, like I said, I'm going this the third season, and so much has changed after having so many conversations and just getting it out. So it's like
Mhm.
another. I journal too, but doing this is like a whole another journal. Um, so the first thing I've been starting this season with is I'm kind of spiritual. I like to just I have my song bowl, so I like to kind of
Yes.
hit that for a quick second to clear the vibes, get the energy right. So I'm gonna do that first. Okay. I always feel so good. Wow. Okay. The other thing I want to start with is like I mentioned, I used to kind of struggle listening to love songs. Like something
Mm.
to come on, I love you. I'm like, turn that shit off. Hey, what fuck that. But I've reached a point where I can start to listen to those songs again. Like I'm not bitter no more. So it's like I want to do a love song of the week for every episode. So I got one. If one comes to mind, feel free to share. But I'll go ahead and share the one that I had on my mind, which is "Put That on Everything" by Brandy. It's from that
Oh,
first album. It's just the
yes.
the flow. I don't know. I don't understand how that girl sounded so fucking grown at like 16, but like the shit, it's amazing, and it's like just the whole point of the song is like I'm be there no matter what. Like you can put that on. Put that on everything. I'm gonna be there. So just for that, that's my song for the week. Does one come to mind for y'all before we get started? No,
Ooh,
no.
I don't have a. I have a. I've always loved love, although being emotionally unavailable most of my life. I've always loved the sentiment,
Okay, I feel that.
but for a love song, Tyler the Creator's Chromacopia, the whole album
Hmm.
feels like a love song
Hey,
to himself.
okay.
So that's where I'm at right now.
I like that. I like that. All right. Oh, I want to say I don't know. That like you got some rebuttals on
No,
that one.
no, no.
Oh.
I ain't really got no love songs. I guess that's just a random one. Just throw the theme song to Kingdom Hearts one or two.
Hey.
Okay,
I,
that's valid.
Very valid. I feel that. Okay, all right. So yeah, so we're gonna dive into it. Like I said, today is about empathy and emotional intelligence. Um, and Donnie, I'll let you take this one first. How do you define emotional intelligence, and why is it important?
I I guess the best way I would explain it is acceptance,
Mm,
like
yeah. Okay.
being able to accept, not just accept what's happening now, or whatever situation. Acceptance, period. Like acceptance
Mhm.
of everything. Like accepting the fact that the person you deal with, whether a partner, family member, or whoever you get in your head right now as I'm talking about this, whoever you
Right.
deal with, accept that person is who that person is,
Mhm.
even if you knew that person at a different standpoint at one point in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you knew that person at a different standpoint, accept that that person is not that, either in the moment or not that right now, as far as mind space,
Or even anymore. That's like
or
growth. I
even
mean,
any,
almost
or
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
or any, even anymore. So what I mean by acceptance is, first, you can't. I feel like you can't accept um, anything else as far as the world or anything around you without being able to accept you for who you claim you are, and actually being that. I got like, each thought of mine is like a theory. And like I just announced, like I think
Yeah.
a lot, and I just read.
Same.
Think,
Same.
read, think. I think a whole lot more than I actually read, but I advocate reading a lot. And that being said, is
Yeah.
I accept, like I feel like I know me.
Mhm.
So I'm cool with me, or at
Yeah.
least at the moment, I'm cool with me. I haven't come across anything that I didn't like about me recently, you know, as
Right.
far as, no, 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 for real though. No,
Yeah.
as
So
far as,
I'm
no,
exactly there in my life
as
right
far
now.
as
So I
me
get
changing anything, like if
it.
anybody say that I need to change
Excuse me.
anything, no, I mean, I'll take heed to it, because probably.
But
But as far as me actually changing because somebody else says they don't like something about me, I'm not going to just change, because what you're talking
yeah.
about, I don't feel like I need to change it. So, because I'm cool with that about me, just because you're not
Yeah.
cool with it about me, you have to accept that about me, not me accepting you not liking me.
Right. So I guess in your words, it is basically like accepting growth, um,
Yeah.
change, and what stays the same. Essentially, I feel that.
Accepting
Yeah.
everything for what it is, like at in the moment, like we we claim that we live in a moment, but we just living in pseudo moments, I like to think, or
Yeah.
I'm thinking of right now,
I feel
because we
that.
always got to whip out a phone and take a picture of the moment versus just living in the moment.
Hey, I
So
do
we
both.
have the, I mean,
I envy you. I can only be present.
yeah, but I ain't saying it's a bad thing. If that's what
Yeah.
you like to do, that's what you like to
Yeah.
do. But at the same time, I feel like that's not really
Be
living in the
present,
moment per
basically.
se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
because
present.
your
Yeah.
memory is that snapshot that you just took.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the moment that I think that's been um in context of the moment when we say, hey, live in the moment. Your
Yeah.
memory is that snapshot that you're taking time out of your day to interrupt the moment to take a picture of the moment.
Can I
Yeah.
piggyback off of what you said, Donnie? Because I think that
Oh yeah.
pseudo
I agree
moment
with you.
is so profound because it's not just about how we exist, like um when we're experiencing things, but even when we're connecting with people, like you said, accepting that this is a different time and space. We're like essentially every moment is a different portal. Anything is possible depending on how both people decide to operate at that time. And sometimes we're operating with all of these biases, all of these different things we've told ourselves about this current moment. And then we
Mm-hmm.
create the same exact moment for ourselves. I've started
Yeah.
to realize that about myself recently. Like, just turn off the story for a minute, exist here.
Mhm.
Because every chance is
Yeah.
an opportunity. Every moment really is.
Yeah. It's really just to kind of combine those is allowing emotional space for people and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I might, yeah, maybe 5 years ago this was something that didn't really piss me off, but now it's something that pisses me off. And the emotional intelligence part is understanding like, oh,
That
this
part.
isn't a button I should push. Like instead of just being ignorant and kind of pushing it on purpose or not being present and living in the old time of when I used to, like I said, not get bothered by this thing or this trigger. Um, and I think it's just important, first off, just for relationships and communication, not like just for like a partner, but like a friend.
Mhm.
I'm and I don't know what it is about turning 30. I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm 32, and it's something about since I turned 30, it was just like I just woke up to shit. It's just like you start really paying attention to things, and you realize not everybody even has that emotional consideration for you, for real.
Right.
You notice you got friends that probably have always hit triggers that you used to just kind of laugh off. And you're like, no, wait, that's fucked up. Why would you do that? Or why would you say that to me? Like, we probably shouldn't be that close. You just start to notice the lack of it that you get, and it helps you also notice who you get it from. Because then I started to also notice the friends that were actually having that space for me to be like, oh shit, all right, you in the mood today? I can tell you good. We'll catch you another day or something. Like just holding space for it where others don't.
Mm.
Yeah, but I also think that people, like, another one of my theories is people act out life. Well, some way of trying to convey that is, I think people act out themselves versus being themselves, and
Okay.
that being, and what comes with that is something similar, or at least that's what my head went when you said, even you talking about your friends or people and they say something, and I'm like, well, I see a lot of people having people around them that they think they gotta be around them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? I
Low
hear a
key,
lot
the
of people
people
saying
probably have
that.
always hated your ass.
Yep, that
Like low
part.
key,
Well,
always
well,
hated you.
not even just that though,
Yeah.
but probably that too. But I'm talking about, like, we have we have I'll just use me for example. I'll just say something like, man, I don't like hanging around fake people or people who be doing too much for no reason and blah, or etc. But yet we have people who hang around people because, or not people who, yeah, but people who have friends who they call
Uh-huh.
friends,
Mm.
that's a member like that, and
Yeah.
the supposed hormone friend, or the supposed say anything crazy friend, or the supposed, like, if you don't like
Yeah.
these type of people or being around these type of people, why do you consider these people
Mhm.
friends, and why do you consider hanging around them
I
as a
think that
as a
tied to what
as
you
a
said.
thing?
Yeah, I think kind of tied to what you said about acceptance, because it's like some of those people I know, like for me, it's like, well, I've had this friendship for so long. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like it's been
But
we've been so cool for
has it
so
been a
long, but it's
friendship for
like
so long though? That's my whole
exactly,
point.
yeah,
Has it
yeah,
really been a friend? Because
yeah.
if you don't like these types of people that
Hmm.
that's being conveyed in this example, why do you have one of these
Hmm.
types of people, or why do you have one of each category of these types of people as what you would consider a friend?
Yeah,
And why
I
do
would
you
say that's
consider taking time out of your life to actually hang with that particular friend?
yeah.
They're like,
I
no,
would
to
think that'd
me,
be like a little less emotional, like a lack of emotional intelligence for yourself.
That part, like
You know
yeah,
that,
what I'm saying?
having boundaries for yourself. That goes with
Yeah.
accepting your growth. And accepting your growth is acknowledging without vilifying the person that they aren't in alignment. I think the reason that a lot of people have a hard time making breaks, including people being abused, is that we have this narrative that we have to vilify the person that's not in alignment with our.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I can't call this person a bad person, so I'm going to cut them all the slack. It's like, no, enforce the boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and don't focus on boxing them in. Just they don't fit in your life and you just step away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Exactly.
ooh.
Because
I
vilifying,
was good
like
at
you
that.
being mad at this person, if you're gonna vilify this person, then you have to vilify yourself because
Yeah,
you chose to hang with a
Chose to
villain.
be around it. Yeah. And
that
so
part.
that's perfect too, because that reminds me of like times in life where we weren't so emotional. Like I'm not saying I have the best level or whatever the hell, but I try my best at this point in my life to have that for others and myself. But obviously I haven't always been like that. So it makes me think about the times where you're saying like vilifying people. I was really good at that because I was good at being a victim. So
Mm.
something happened, I'm just like, they did this and that, and I just can't believe it. And I'm kind of an actor, so it's like I was dramatic too a little
Yeah.
bit. So it was just like
Acting
I
out
am about
life.
to turn your ass into the world's worst. Everybody gonna hate your ass when I'm done, kind of thing. Um, and it just take a point of being like, okay, yeah, maybe they did this thing, yeah, they maybe made you feel this way, but you got you here. What the fuck did you do? What's on your side? And that's kind of what it kicked in for me. So with that, I guess my next question is, how do you guys handle your emotional intelligence for yourself in moments of like frustration or sadness or anger? Like, what are some things that you kind of maybe turn to, or how do you deal?
Well, I'm a journaler, so I really do. And
I love it.
I grew up Christian. So self degradation, self assessment, and just
Mm-hmm.
tearing yourself down is still kind of something that's ingrained in me, but I've turned it
Yeah.
to work for my benefit with how I relate to people. So as soon as something doesn't go that way, I'm looking right at myself. I'm not being like, oh, lashes, but I'm like, what did I do? What choices did I make? Even if it seems like they did it for no reason. What choices did I make to allow a person to treat me this way? And then I'm a lister. So I'll start to plan out, what does it look
I
like if
love
I'm
it.
being fair to myself? What choices can I make? But it really goes back to me. So when I distance myself from people, it's very rarely like an FU thing. It's just like, hey,
I need to back up.
I like to ask questions. You don't like to answer questions. I know at this point in my life, I'm not changing that about myself. So
Yeah,
we might not just be compatible. And then that's that.
I feel that. Donnie?
Yeah, sure. I ain't got nothing special other than just doing
Right.
what I like to do. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I got for somebody. Like I don't try to pretend for anything unless I'm
Mm-hmm.
acting, like literally acting in front of a camera. There's no need to pretend for
Yeah.
anything. Like that's part of the issue of what I claim or what of my theories is what I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
earlier. I think people act out life. They rather portray whatever personality they chose from
Yeah.
the imaginary Rolodex they got in their head to be
Uh,
today versus just being themselves because
yeah.
that's what's frowned upon. That's
Right.
what's being yourself is the taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
people are comfortable with complacent.
Mm-hmm.
They're all
Or just like no, well, not to say it's necessarily a bad thing, but I guess with fitting in with the normal, with the
mhm.
norm. This is
Yeah,
I have to fit into this box, but it's like you know, being yourself is shit. If you're emotional, you're emotional.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's be that. Like I
hmm
think the more that we allow ourselves to be, and it's like I said, the emotional space from others and for ourselves, the more I think freer you feel. Like the more of
Absolutely.
myself I've been, like the more of me I've learned and accepted and just allowed to just exist. I There's like not a lot of heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I am
and
super angry or sad at some shit, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be sad and then move on.
exactly, exactly.
That's
I
it.
don't let nothing. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Mhm.
I don't care
But
about nothing outside of my household. Care about nothing
yeah.
outside of my household. And and I don't mean it to that degree of what it may sound like me
Hmm.
not caring. What I mean by that is like unless you're coming to me about he say she say, I'm talking about the person, not he say she say about what the person is saying about he say she say. The person that you're talking about me. unless that person comes to me to say
Yeah.
whatever it is,
It's
what's
not,
the
it's not my
point of
business.
me taking time out of my life?
Uh,
Like, I'm gonna pause me chilling to get mad because somebody else
yeah.
said that somebody else said something.
It's
Like,
exhausting.
that's a
I
waste of
Extremely.
time. That's a waste of life to take time out of your life to pause my PlayStation and go, what? For
I
real?
can't believe I got shit
I
going
can't
on. I'm
I can't
fine.
believe I
right.
ain't never met this person a day in my life,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get mad about this person.
Yeah. Yeah.
This person is an overseer,
Um.
and I'm gonna get mad.
Um. I was gonna get into mine, but I think Lobe has something to say real quick.
Um, I was just going to say that the most radical truth that I've accepted that's changed a lot for me over, I wouldn't say like the past year, is that everybody really is trying their best to navigate as best they know how. But like Donnie said, unfortunately,
Mm,
a lot of us are walking through scripts we didn't write ourselves. Like
yeah.
the parts that people are acting out, they didn't write themselves. They just someone told them that's what they need to be. Society or whatever has told them this is how what the
Yeah.
mold they have to fit. And so they're fighting that. And sometimes they'll fight a person who's unapologetically themselves because they resent
Yeah.
your freedom.
Yeah. Because
is
it's
it
pure free. It's literally freedom. That's like exactly what it is. Like I don't feel like
is it
anything
really
can
though? Oh, I'm
like.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no. I was just gonna say like I don't. I've reached a point thinking of all the shit that has pulled me or dragged me down or just made me like this person that I wasn't. I don't see none of that shit doing that again to me or even
Mhm.
happening. Like I look at it all like Dan, you was mad at that. What the fuck? Like you crashed out over that. Like I laugh so hard at some of those old moments now because I'm just like, yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I
What were you gonna
mean,
say?
okay. I guess. Okay, I guess. I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, like, I could see that. I could, and I hear that. Well, the two Utes are saying,
Yeah.
but
uh,
but what I was thinking about is that, like, I don't know what to call it per se, but again, like the best way I can convey it is to try to say it on how it's going on in my head as I think about it.
yeah.
And it's I, I think we know better. Like we know ourselves already. I think we know
Hmm.
everybody. I think we all know
Absolutely.
ourselves already. But for some reason, whatever that comfortable with complaints it is, whatever that is, that's blocking. That's 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 making us deflect from whatever it is that we're psychologically deflecting from when someone says something on what you guys were just talking about. Like
Yeah.
basically, I kind of call it the you don't know me factor. Like, oh,
Mm.
you don't know me, but yet it's kind of
You don't
like
know
you don't
you.
know yourself. So how can
Right.
I
Yeah.
know you to know you? How can if you don't know yourself, how would I be able to know you in order for this trigger to actually
Mhm.
Yeah.
trigger you the way that it's triggering you? Because I'm a stranger. I'm not supposed to know what trigger you.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to.
You
That's
know what?
all
I
you.
think yeah. That's funny you say that because it kind of ties into one of my own theories. Um, is that we know ourselves when we're kids. We know exactly like we know we want to do the
No
earliest in life.
way. I gotta hear
But
some of that.
then
No.
on a spiritual level, we know exactly who we are. But
Absolutely.
as we get older, we're more and more exposed to the world, to opinions and trends, and our parents what they want for us, and what so much other shit comes in as we get older that we lose that. Which is why a lot of people say when you come to your 30s, it's coming back to your childhood because a lot of people start to realize that shit that I loved doing when I was a kid, I left behind, but here I am now an adult and I'm back in love with it, sort of thing. Like I think on a deeper level as kids, but we don't know how to articulate that shit. We're kids, but we know it's something in there is already it's unaffected, it's untouched. So it's in there like this is who you are, and then college and
Social
fucking
programming.
so
I guess
music
I gotta be
and pop
spiritual then.
culture and parents and all that comes in, and then you lose it. and then you just reach a
I
point
guess
where you
I gotta
start to
be
go back to it.
spiritual.
I
I guess
mean,
I gotta
you
be
I
believe
would say
in
spiritual.
just
social programming and indoctrination,
yeah.
like you got to be this. And this is
I
who you
mean,
are, and all these other things,
Mm.
except for you, are telling you that's who you are. And a lot of people follow that script for the rest of their lives. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
believe in programming, but I don't believe in anything spiritual, um, nor religious. And in fact, I
Okay.
think religious instills self-hate into a person.
Oh,
I
now
agree
that
with that.
I
I
agree
agree
with.
with that
I agree
But
with that.
wholeheartedly.
yeah, but that
But you
being
know,
said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
you good. I because I was like, I feel like we're gonna go to the side, and I would love to talk spirituality,
Mhm.
but yeah, that
I
we'll end
wasn't
up
going there.
hopping
I
off the
wasn't going there.
topic.
I was just referencing. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, no, I was just gonna say, to answer mine, and like how I, handle frustration and stuff like that with myself. Like, well, like I mentioned, like I used to be a bit of a crash out, emotional crash out. Like, you gonna know I'm mad, or you gonna know I'm sad. Like, that's just it. But I've learned to allow that without being a crash out per se. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
don't have to fuck all this shit, flip over the table, kind of. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of the times, what I don't hide how I feel. I just take space from it, and then, like you said, journaling, and then also just create, for me, art, like creating, just
Mm.
making shit. I love to just make stuff. Like, if it's a poem or a photo shoot or a book or fucking a song, I'm gonna do that because I've learned to translate a lot of my emotional turmoil into that. So now, whereas I used to, be mad and or whatever the fucking kind of pout or slam doors or shit like that, I'm just gonna write a song about what's pissing me off. And it's like, bam, it's out there, it's done, it's on paper, I'm good now. Next. um, and I think, like I mentioned, why it's important is just you get adults who, and that's the other part you realize as you get older, that not everybody grows up. They get older, but they don't grow up. And it's just kind of wild to see some of the circumstances. Some people, like, it'll be somebody like 45. Why are you stumping around? Like, you might want to handle that. You grown as hell. Like,
Mhm.
you get a lot of that, and it's just like you realize, like I said, mentioned earlier, a lot of people don't also do that work because it's not something that just clicks one day and you got it. You It clicks in the understanding of what it means, maybe, but you have to practice it. So if you're not practicing, it don't matter if you know the shit or not, because like I said, you're gonna be 45 busting out windows or whatever the fuck, and you look crazy.
Absolutely. I don't want to go off track, but I did want to say
Mhm.
I do think that a great obstacle in emotional intelligence is that there is so much shame centered around emotion. Because there's like no
Mm.
unless corporations are profiting off of your emotion, it is useless and invalid. And so when people are ashamed for their emotions, they fight them and they don't realize that that causes
It's
a more
okay.
emotional reaction and emotional regression. So it's just like the monks say, let the feelings go through you or they'll consume you. Give them their moment, let them
Yeah.
pass. But if you're always trying to fight them, you aren't going to know what
Shout
to
out.
do when you have to deal with someone else's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Shout out
that's
to
kind of
Buddha. Okay.
that's kind of what I
Love it.
something I another way of conveying or what I think I was trying to convey about people deflecting from themselves.
Hmm.
Like we know ourselves, but as soon as somebody else, it's kind of like how if we don't pick out what we don't like about ourselves before somebody else picks it out, then
And they'll
you
take
know what I
it.
Ooh.
mean.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh,
Yep.
that's good. That's
It's some shit that
good.
you didn't even
It's
care
like
about before, but now you are like over
yeah,
fucking stimulated about it.
so, exactly. So you do know this about yourself, and you're just choosing to be stupid.
You're like,
But you know
sit
what?
with
I
that.
think, yeah, I think it comes with a little bit of like what you said, Globe, too, of like people naming or labeling some emotions bad, where they're all just like we all feel the same shit. There's not no brand new emotion. There's not like we all get angry. We all get, frustrated. We
Yes,
all get jealous. Like all that shit happens. It's just when you label it bad versus just a part of you, like human, yeah, ask yourself, why am I mad? Why is this making me so angry? Why am I feeling like this? But don't treat it as it's bad, because once you do that, you automatically separate yourself from being human. And then now you got to be like, oh shit, it's something wrong with me that I'm mad. It's something wrong with me that I'm sad. It's something wrong. And it's like the shame kick in. So now you try to act like you ain't all these things, but it's
Right.
still coming
That,
out. It's still coming out
Exactly.
in a
that's
random
negative.
ways.
What you saying right now is negative. Okay.
Yeah, wait. Oh, wait.
No, it's not actually. I'm just making fun of my own
Yeah, no,
self
I got you. Yeah.
because that's
And then
that's
at that point, if I
all I
wasn't
hear.
mentally strong, I would accept that and start to
Exactly,
question how I talk. Like, damn, what did
exactly,
I say?
exactly. But as you hear almost everywhere is, oh, that's negative or whatever. I'm only around positive vibes and blah blah this and that. I mean, but
That's fake.
So
just
fake.
because you don't like something, that does not make that negative. It's just
Right.
you didn't like what you just heard right now. So either ponder on it or wallow in your misery. It's
Yeah.
like, because again, just because like what we're talking about right now is probably
Mhm.
what somebody, and shoot, you're talking about what you used to be like.
Yeah.
So at one
Yeah.
point in time, what you just said was negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but now that you sat around and like you said, you grew up a little bit, then now you're rethinking things, and that's another thing that I think comes with acceptance, like
Mhm.
accepting acceptance, not just acceptance, like
Mhm.
accepting
Yeah.
the whole embodiment of what we entitle acceptance to
Yeah.
be, like
Mhm.
all accept that. And once you accept all that, then it's so many things that, at least with me, I start to realize what I'm talking about right here now. It's like I start to. That's why all my thoughts become theories, because I think about what it is that I'm thinking about, and I read, and then I think some more what it
Yeah.
is that I'm thinking about,
You
and
gotta
thinking
fill your
about
brain. Not enough people are doing that. They're not
as
feeding their.
yeah. I'm like
Mhm.
basically it's
Yeah.
basically again, like I said, I'm not my thoughts. I just don't mind sharing my thoughts, because
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the absolute only way that I can think of off the top of my head on how to gain understandings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I get that.
it's so many people afraid of understanding what they think they
Mhm.
understand, and that
Yeah.
frightens people from conversation, and that frightens people from better understanding the world, let alone people who may go, like, how can you have empathy just because you looked at somebody across the street and seen something happen? You got empathy,
Yeah.
okay, probably, probably, but do you understand what is going
Yeah.
on? Because you don't. That person probably deserved what the heck happened to him right there, but people are afraid to
Mhm.
say things like
So it's actually funny that I mean, first off, I have dark ass humor. I'm from Detroit. I feel like you kind of have to have dark humor in the city. Like growing up there, like
That's
you
right.
gotta laugh at some shit.
Mhm.
Um, but it's funny that you mentioned empathy, because that was kind of the other part I was about to go into, of like how emotional intelligence and empathy almost go hand in hand. I think the emotional intelligence is more for yourself, and empathy is for others. Um,
Mhm.
and I guess I'll just start of like, how would you define empathy yourselves? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
want to
Glove.
hear yeah, I want to hear what
Yeah,
you got
let's
to
say
say
Glove. I'll let
about
you.
how does empathy work for others?
Well, just
First of
more so,
all,
how do you define it, preferably? But
um,
yes, that's you.
first of all, to have impactful empathy, you do have to be able to check yourself. A lot, because you are always growing. You are always going to have limitations. So a lot of us are limited, empathetic creatures, myself included. Because empathy is being able to see that at the end of the day, that's a person honestly navigating life as best they can. It really is as best they can. If impeding on your freedom, your autonomy, or whatever, it's what they define as best, is seriously, they just are operating out of fear or limiting beliefs or whatever, but they really are. And knowing that, like, hey, I feel for you, and I hope you find the freedom within yourself to be able to accept the existence of other people or whatever, but like just not being attached and vilifying people, knowing that that's another human you're talking to. They always are, no matter how monstrous their views are, that's still another human.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. I feel
I'll let you
same.
go ahead
Yeah, I
and
feel
take that
that
one
same
next.
way. I feel
Yeah.
that same way. Like on my show, like I explain to everybody, say what you want to say, how you want to say it. I take no offense
Yeah.
to absolutely nothing. Nothing offends me. Or it's people that got offended about me saying nothing offends me. I'm like, "Nigga, you gotta work on yourselves for real."
How you
But
mad? Because I'm not offended.
exactly. But
Yeah.
also, I say, I also tell people, like when I look for guests for my show, I just put out a post saying looking for guests to have probably an uncomfortable conversation. If you're asking what we're talking about, you're already uncomfortable. Just leave it at that. So whoever
Yeah.
want to join, join. But at that point, there's so many people psychologically gets so uncomfortable with just visibly
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see
seeing
on a
and
panel.
reading
Like
the
if it's a couple
word
people, I've seen it a couple
uncomfortable.
times.
Oh, you seen it? Okay.
Like,
I've been one of those
I mean, just
people.
overall idea.
Okay, yeah. So
I was like, oh, is this another guy trying to poach women? And it wasn't
okay.
until I watched the show that I was like,
Oh, so
Yeah.
you seen one of my shows? You seen one? Oh, okay. All right, but yeah,
Um,
like it's psychological for some reason. The human psyche blocks out the word probably and gets so uncomfortable with visibly seeing and reading the word uncomfortable. All the fixation goes to uncomfortable while excluding the word probably.
yeah.
And that being said, I say that because I don't know how comfortable you are with conversation as I am.
Mhm.
So that's why I say
Mhm.
probably. That being said, people ask
Yeah.
again more questions. I'm like, well, I do that because again, what I just said, but also every what am I about to say? Ah, shoot, wherever I was going.
I hate that.
I know. It's like,
um,
okay. It's like,
well, I could give. Oh well. Okay, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I can give my definition of empathy, at least in my words, while you think of that. I'm just
Oh,
gonna
I
say, like,
remember. I'm sorry.
oh, there you go. I mean, no, that's fine. I didn't get started, so that's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I remember. I say that to say that I'll give everybody a shot at least once when it comes to conversation. Like I don't care
Mhm,
how
mhm.
ludicrous you may be coming off or how much I assume you ludicrous you may be. You
Yeah,
know, I
yeah,
don't even bring what I assume in the conversation because that's what the conversation is for. All my assumptions will get answered then probably. If not, then
yeah.
I may ask a question or two. If not, if it probably wasn't even that big of a deal. But I
Yeah.
say that again. People would just I mean, I don't know, man. The
It's a
human
Yeah.
triggering
psyche,
prompt.
the
It's a
human
triggering
psyche is
It
prompt,
so
is. It
especially in the
is.
wow.
podcast world. As a Black woman in
Yeah.
podcasting, I saw that. Not as a human, but I saw that post as a Black woman in podcasting. And I
Yep.
immediately imagined like the worst nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
And
he's
I
like, you
mean, but
listen to
also they do give people the wrong people microphones. Some
I I know,
Absolutely.
but at the same time,
Absolutely.
every moment's an
yeah,
opportunity. And that showed
Exactly.
me I
yeah.
had an egg on my face listening to the podcast. He ain't saying nothing I
Exactly.
disagree with.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not looking to make a point and
Yeah.
at all. Like I don't even want to debate anything. Absolutely
Mhm.
nothing. I just got my thoughts and I want to hear
Just
them.
want to talk.
And I employ other people to share whatever it is they got to share about
Yeah.
what they've been thinking about because that's one of the most taboo. That's probably the second most taboo thing. That's probably why people are so uncomfortable with being themselves because they're
Hmm.
afraid of their own thoughts for some reason. Like I don't get why you're
Hmm.
afraid of you,
Because
but
not everybody don't understand that they aren't their
problem.
thoughts. It's like you're the observer of them. You know what I'm saying? But you're not your
You're not your
thoughts.
thoughts. You,
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think you're your thoughts. Like just because you think of like how many times I ain't even gonna say how many times. I'm just gonna just say, just because you thought about harming people, that don't make you a killer, a murderer, or
I
whatever.
watch a lot of
Because we,
scary movies, so sometimes I have crazy
and I
dreams
was
or
just
see
about to
crazy
say,
shit. If I
I
have
was
a crazy thought,
just
and be
about
like,
to say
"Wow, that
that.
was wild."
I was
Okay.
just
Anyway,
about to say that.
And
Just
if
about to,
you
yeah,
and we're all avid readers and avid searchers and learners, and so
imaginations.
the more you learn, the more you grow, your
the
thoughts are
more,
going to shift. So you can't
yeah,
just
Exactly.
hold on and be tied to that.
yeah.
Exactly. Like to me, you
Um,
would be what religion tells you you are, if that be.
yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So I mean, to define it in my words, empathy is being able to take off your shoes and put someone else's on.
Mm.
You not keep them
That's
on, because
exactly
sometimes
it.
that's how some people overdo it and they take on people's problems and stuff like that. It's like no, but understand. And I think a lot of that comes from the more emotional intelligence you have for yourself. So the more
Mm.
I explore me, the more I understand the world. And then it's like
Absolutely.
you reach a point where, and I also recently learned it was partially a trauma response because of like how I grew up. I grew up in a tumultuous kind of house, a little crazy sometimes. And as a kid, you are on the edge of trying to constantly pinpoint emotions in the house of
Mm.
like what's going. So it you start off sensitive already, but it's
Mhm.
just like the more I begin to explore my own emotions and understand more of myself, I could just see shit in other people emotionally at this point and understand them to a point of like I'll have moments where I'm crying. I'm like, why are you fucking crying? Damn, like you all right? Like, but I'm so in what they are going through and an understanding place that I'm like, fuck, that was me. I have no idea.
hmm Yeah, yeah.
So
What you just
I
did is
think,
deal with. I'm sorry. What's your name? Your name Globe? Is I'm
Y-
saying that right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What you just said. Explain a little bit what she had said earlier. Because you
mhm,
said like, what are you crying for? Like, because you care about people. It's like at
yeah,
least I will assume you do. You care about people. Like I don't understand the evil that we have in this world, and it's so
mhm,
many. Like I was talking to somebody 2 episodes ago on my show. He had said he just came out of nowhere like, hey man, can I ask a question? Can I say something that's been on my mind? Sure, go ahead. He like, I just want to change the world, like not in a woo woo
that's
way,
real.
but I want to get in it and change it literally. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, first of all, unless you got a suit, that ain't gonna happen because we literally don't use the word literally correctly. But I
uh,
understood what he was saying. But
uh,
but I had told him like, man, I'm not about to waste my time with trying to save the world. I'm like, I'm not even a religious person, and going off the stories of religion, if that cat couldn't do it, what makes you think you can?
yeah.
But
You just gotta change yourself and
but
then hope
yeah,
that it spreads from what you
but
do.
Yep.
but yeah, and that's what I told him. I'm like, if something I did impacted the world in a very noticeable way, that'd be extra dope. But that'd I'd be miserable trying to change the world. Even
Hmm.
I don't even like I want to make a world.
Hmm.
I want to make a change the world, but I don't want to change it in like I'm not about to go out my way to change it. Put it like
Hmm.
that because again,
Okay. So
I got
like,
I
so
got
like you would
like I have
petition, but you won't
empathy.
march. If I
You
had to
said what?
like, I said so
Say
like you
what?
would petition, so you would like petition like sign some shit, but you ain't gonna
Oh
march because
man,
that's going out of the way essentially. I mean like not saying like you literally, but like
I ain't about to
to
sign no damn
paraphrase, you
anything.
know?
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. But
yeah, yeah.
so I guess
Okay, I
going
feel
off that
that.
analogy, yeah, going off that analogy, yeah, because like
Yeah,
but like again, I care about people. I just don't care about them enough to be
to the
like
point of
I'm about
losing
to
yourself.
exactly like I
Yeah,
like again.
yeah, yeah.
I got my own household to worry about. I don't worry about anything outside of my household because that right there is what bring what
Hmm.
we see societal as far as mental issues. Everything that people cry about that you hear in conversations, And like to me, no, that ain't me. Like again, I care about my
Yeah.
fellow man. I love my fellow man, but
So
only on the aspect that they are just another human being, and I
yeah,
care
yeah.
about other human. I care about life.
S-
Period.
So then, do you and Globe? I'll hop this over to you. Like, do you believe that people can be empaths? The term of an empath. Have you ever heard of it? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Cause so
I guess.
cause I mean, and that's again, everybody's own beliefs, but like I'm extremely spiritual. Like I'm not religious at all, but I'm extremely spiritual. And if I had to pick a religion, it would probably be Buddhism, but more open. But I believe I am an empath, and I've kind of displayed it in multiple ways. But like one of the times I really noticed it is it was like the craziest thing. I got on the train after work, my ride home, and I'm doing my little after work routine. Got my headphones in, just watching little funny videos and shit till we get to the spot. And I was fine. I had a great day. Like I was literally emotionally totally fine. We made a stop, kept going out of nowhere. I'm just like feeling heavy. I'm like, what the fuck? It's weird. Like couldn't shake it. And then my eyes start tearing up. And I'm like, no, nigga, what is going on? Like I'm literally confused because I'm okay, but I'm starting to get sadder and sadder just out of nowhere. And there was nothing for me to be sad about.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, okay, I need to like take a second. So I put my phone down and tears kind of start rolling down a little bit too. I'm like literally confused. I'm looking around and I look at the back and this guy that wasn't there until the last stop was on there. He's probably around my age or maybe younger, dirty, fucking like fucking no shoes on, like clearly had been out on the street and he was just bawling. And I was like, oh shit, that's like, cause as soon as I saw him, I instantly was like, this is who the fuck is fucking with me emotionally, because I'm fine.
You
And I just
got
like
spidey
instantly felt
senses
him.
for the.
And it's
No, I believe
I mean,
it.
like, yeah, I mean, I was about to say it's just something that I started to just notice, and I've shown it a couple of different times. Like it's something that just
Okay.
happens.
All right.
um,
Question about that real quick. Do
uh,
you do you believe it enough to actually look further into it?
oh yeah, it's something I've been
What
working
I mean,
on
or you've
for.
been
Oh,
working
go
on it,
ahead.
like you've been trying to hone it, like you've been trying to actually do it
Yeah,
on
I
purpose.
that lucid dream. I have like 15 tarot decks. Like I'm. It's just like not some brand new shit. It's like some shit that's been like the past 12 years of my life.
So can you do that on purpose?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. If I literally, I'm to the point of like it's usually autonomous. So like I said, it just happens. But if I focus in and hone in on it, yeah,
Yeah, so you still get like involuntary downloads, but if you're
yeah,
intentional and you want that, I believe it. I will say
yeah,
that all of the actual empaths I know are typically people with the best boundaries because of things like involuntary downloads. So
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't play
I'm
about
learning
their
those.
shit or access to them. Now I do see a lot of people claim to be empaths, and it's just they
Yeah,
have a contextual understanding of what people are going through, and so they feel for them, and then they have no boundaries. That's not the same
yeah,
thing. But
yeah,
what you explained about your experience, I've met a lot of people like that, and those are the people that are like, who is all going to be over there, and
yes,
who like really low key hanging out for the most part. They're very sensitive about their space.
yeah. And I get more sensitive as I get older, so I really just be like, hold on.
Mhm.
I mean, like I don't like large crowds anymore. I'm could go to like big ass concerts and like festivals and shit. Now I'm just like, it's too much. I need y'all to get.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I'm definitely who I'm gonna be that guy. But like, I feel like Donnie, I feel like you kind of like
He's not
still a
spiritual.
little.
No, no,
Yeah, but I get it though. But I get it though.
I'm not knocking anybody who claim they can
Yeah,
do
yeah.
whatever. Hey, I'm not you, so you probably there doing all this stuff. I'm just
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna be the person that's gonna sit here and believe straight off rip what somebody is
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
of
got a
course.
voice box and using it. I'm taking
Yeah,
in
I
what you're
feel it.
saying, and I'm thinking about it
Mhm.
and listen to it. I feel like again, like I feel like again, I'm not spiritual nor religious, but
Mhm.
for the ones who do believe in this type of stuff, if you
Mhm.
believe in God, I don't see how you cannot believe in anything else, because anything is possible,
Yeah,
right?
because the
So
Bible
I
is
don't
filled with
understand.
magic. That shit
Yeah,
is it's all like
absolutely
literally
magic.
magic. It's like motherfuckers
Literally.
It's it's absolutely
littered with
100.
magic, and motherfuckers are like, magic is evil. Are y'all reading the same book? Like,
100% magic. That exact same thing that God is doing is magic to me
yeah,
from what I'm reading. So yeah,
yeah,
that's why I say, hey, if that's what you claim that you doing, hey, you can
yeah,
do it. I can't do it, so how can I be like, hey, you ain't doing
yeah.
it?
But you know what though? If I'm being honest, that is part of another theory I have real quick before I get to the next question. Is I do actually think we all have the ability. It's just a matter of like how you mentioned tapping in or like honing in. I think it's just a matter of that. Like I think everybody can do it. It's just different levels and
You know,
because then like I feel like you would have more empathy. Like whereas like like I said, I can feel anybody, a total fucking stranger. Whereas some people won't feel it for a stranger, but can have that total empathy because of how much they love family, can feel it right there. Like you feel your brother, like damn, like you feel
but
what your
yeah, I
mama
don't.
going
Yeah,
through. You got the empathy for
yeah, I
them,
don't
but
have to.
like not for a
I'm
total
sorry.
stranger. No, no,
I'm
you good,
sorry.
you
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I was going to say, yeah, I don't think you have to have empathy for specifics in order to have
Mm-hmm.
empathy. I don't think you even have to experience something to have empathy. I just
Mm-hmm.
like I just
Yeah.
I think that defeats the purpose of empathy to me. If you have
Mm-hmm.
experienced it and oh, okay, well, I understand because I went through it. Oh, but then you don't get empathy then. Like you don't.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I think that's part of again acting out life. I think a lot of people say and do things because that's just how they were. That's what they were used to doing growing up in
Yeah.
life. Like
Yeah.
we speak in, if you pay attention, we speak in phrases and a lot of conversations that you may hear on radio or
Mm-hmm.
just overhearing. Like we speak in phrases versus complete sentences. And I feel like we got to learn how to talk to one another and all of that. But going back to the whole spiritual, they just like again, I don't. And
Yeah.
again, that's cool. Like I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
cannot care less than what I already don't care about who
Yeah.
or what you
Yeah.
believe in, just as long as you hurting only you. Only you. Like I shouldn't have to be
If you're gonna
threatened
hurt
or
somebody, hurt yourself,
anybody
God
else.
damn it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to be threatened or
Yeah.
anybody that I care about or anybody else on the planet should be threatened because your God said so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, amen.
That's right. Yeah. All right.
So think about that if
um.
that's what you're choosing to believe in. Why does your God want to bleed others?
Mhm. You know what? It's because it's like it's we hadn't. Because I wanna. Like I feel like I've had spiritual episodes, so I might have to call y'all back for that one. Because
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
that's
Hey,
that's
As
the
a
it's
conversation to be
my
had.
favorite subject to talk about, even though I
it's
don't
one of
agree with
my
any
one of
of
my
it.
favorites. My dad's a pastor and I am a burlesque
Cool.
dancer. So
Okay.
like we
Oh
different.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
see, yeah, you guys are a little heathen
yeah.
over here.
Yes.
See, and that's the funny part. Like I kind of grew up, uh, not like in my immediate household religious. Like my mom occasionally would, we'd go to church and stuff like that, but it wasn't like a super religious household. But like my family is very spiritual and they don't realize it.
Mm,
Like I got tarot from my grandma, like
okay.
she in meditation from her. So it's just like, and then I mean, I think we all know like black people, especially the grandmas and great grandmas and shit, always have like these little remedies that they not realizing is some some
Hmm.
down south witchcraft shit from the 1500s. Like,
Hit
here,
you
go
with
ahead
that
and put
Eve
this egg
Banyans.
behind you and throw some salt and
Listen.
then rub it. And be like, wait, what?
Mhm.
um but no, I enjoyed this one very much. Like I said, empathy and emotional intelligence are super important to me, and I think um, it starts with yourself, and then it just expands to the point of how we understand and communicate with each other. When you don't have it, like I said, I think I see it all the time, especially like online. You know, some people just say some shit that's just like like, or even to just do shit. Like I saw, what was it the other day on I forgot which news it was, but some lady was trying to sell her baby on Facebook. And like the baby daddy got a message. Yeah, the baby daddy got a message like, "Hey, she's trying to sell your baby." I immediately got pissed. Like I can imagine how the fuck he feel. Bitch, you trying to sell my motherfucking baby? Like just give me my baby. Like, you know, like it's just people don't have that. It's weird because I think more and more people do have it, but at the same time, less of that is displayed. So more of the opposite is what we see. But I do feel like people are gaining more. Maybe not, because after Trump,
Okay.
I'm about to say after
Maybe you're
last week, maybe not, maybe fucking not. So I had to catch myself, like, you know what? Maybe
all the way
fucking not.
in the nah, people ain't.
But I mean, I do
What you was
think
about to say?
at
What you was
least.
about to say though? What you was about to
Well,
say?
no, I was gonna say overall, but I do have I do believe not overall, but at least for us, I think more Black people at least are attempting to get more empathy and emotional intelligence. We still lack. I mean, unfortunately, it's still a lot of us that don't. But I think more versus when I was a kid and growing up where I grew up and everything. There's a difference from then and now. It's not perfect.
I guess
but
so.
I feel. I mean, just for example, I feel more comfortable being gay now around my people than I did back in the 90s, the early 2000s. Like,
That's because
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like there's more.
I'm sorry.
I mean, my people is niggas, us. I just mean I feel more comfortable being around us as a gay man, whereas I didn't used to. Yeah, about your people. I mean, especially being in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I mean, just like for example, like I said, I'm from Detroit. I go back every year. I've been in Arizona for 8 years, but I go back every summer the past 2 summers, but usually holiday time. But either way, I go back every year, and there's a difference. Like, and again, it ain't perfect. Niggas still get shot. You still get your ass whooped. It's still Detroit, but there's a difference in the emotional intelligence. Not so much the empathy part, but I do notice more people starting to.
Oh no! Wait. Can you have that without empathy?
Yeah, emotional intelligence starts with yourself.
Yeah, empathy is like the next level.
Empathy at the next level.
At least that's how I see it. Because like emotional intelligence is the prerequisite. You can't have empathy without that.
Okay. Yeah. What exactly is emotional intelligence? Maybe I'm hearing something this whole entire show.
It's the ability to understand and hold space for your own emotions so that you can do the same for others' emotions. And then empathy is stepping into that.
Okay, I thought I heard it like that. I view that the totally opposite way. Because I think you can't even begin to even grow what we call growth until you accept you. Until you have empathy.
But that's the emotional intelligence part.
Yeah, that is the emotional intelligence part.
Okay. Maybe
because it's understanding, like not having, like we mentioned, like shaming yourself for certain emotions and stuff like that. Like it's starting there and then
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Now. It's coming in differently and being tweaked around in my brain differently. But so we on the same page.
Yeah.
Is this all like a ADHD full panel over here?
No, I got it. I am heavily ADHD'd over here. Yes. But no, I like I said, I appreciate you guys for doing this with me. It's a great conversation. I might definitely have to call y'all back for that spiritual episode. But like any guest I have, I always let them know, up to you if you want to, but they're all subject to come back for whatever topic. They just come to my mind. I'm like, okay, cool. Who want to be on this one? Let me think. Or who would be good for this one and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be hitting y'all up. But before I let y'all go, just want to let y'all, reintroduce yourself again, just in case somebody comes in the middle or whatever, and let them know where to find you and all that good stuff. Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. Again, I'm Globe, and I have a journaling podcast where you work on yourself and you discover yourself. If you want some journal prompts, or you want to hear some conversations with veteran journalers or new journalers, please check us out on Verbal Tea anywhere you stream, or at Verbal Tea Time on Instagram, TikTok. That's all I got.
Wait a minute. Verbal Tea, Globe. That name sounds familiar,
Mhm.
and your face looks familiar too.
I said at this point we all
icon.
just been transferred and moved around and all and different shows. It's a big small circle.
I told on myself earlier.
Yeah, are you referring to that looking for women to have probably uncomfortable conversation? Okay.
Yep, that's me. That's what I was talking about earlier. Yep.
Oh
so funny.
man. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Cool. Finally got a chance to do a show with you. You kind of now that you just said something, I'm like, yeah.
Replay what I said earlier. Replay it.
Scurry away from that conversation, that episode. Yeah.
That's funny.
I brought it up.
Yeah, no.
that's
I'm
funny,
talking
that's
about
funny.
the actual at the time.
Oh yeah.
At
But that was an eye-opening moment for me. Sorry. Promote yourself. Promote yourself.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm conversing about Donnie from Whatever Taught, the show where we make fun of reality. That's how I like to put it. And
you got to.
Yeah, I just got my thoughts. That's pretty much what the show is about. My thoughts and me conversing about my thoughts, and just to get some understanding, because like I said earlier in the episode, taboo is the thing for some reason. Like it's the thing. Like we're so afraid of the taboo, and yet we don't even know what the conversation is about. Like the females episode.
That part, right? That's a perfect example.
There's also some people don't know how to have disagreements anymore without, like, certain things are kind of, related to morals and shit like that. And say, all right, this ain't a disagreement. This is you go over there. But like, it's okay to have conversations and just be like, okay,
Absolutely.
That's all right, that's crazy, but cool, that's you, kind of thing. Like people don't know how to do that shit anymore.
Exactly.
Because their ego tell them how they feel is right in the way, and it's just like, okay, I can't talk to you anyway.
Hypothetically, we're all right. Hypothetically, every last one of us is right. Hypothetically, so
I like it.
I also have another show called Challenge Our Beliefs. Like I said, I'm not spiritual nor religion, but it's my favorite thing to talk about because I think that religion.
Invite me. I'm old.
Whenever you down, I'm always down for a conversation. Whenever you down, we're gonna talk after this.
Okay.
But it's just religion. I say mostly on Christianity, but because that's what I know most of. But all religion is welcome to be talked about. But again, it's just conversation, folks. Like I don't care whether you believe in God or not. I'm just curious on the human psyche, because I think that religion is the cornerstone to humanity's psychological issues.
Definitely one of them.
One of many.
Man, no, that was it's a good conversation, guys. Thank you. Like I said, I will hit y'all up. Everybody definitely follow these amazing people, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
Thank you. Be well.
Welcome. Bye.
Myself busy, I ran around in circles, think I made